Hello and welcome to the Mike Price cast assessment. I'm absolutely buzzing for this season. I'm so excited. It's going to be awesome. Survivor Southampton, it's season 1. Let's go. Okay, so first of all, my prediction. So my first prediction is that it's going to be very much a battle between the louder players versus the silent assassins. And I think it's going to be very interesting to see how the game starts. Either the louder players are going to tear each other apart and the silent assassins are just going to pick up the pieces, or the louder players are going to actually team up, get it together, and then they'll make it to the end. My prediction is the silent assassins will take advantage of the fecklessness of the louder players, and all of the loud players will be out early. Okay, so let's have a look at the cast members individually. So we start with Sam. So Sam's running a half marathon earlier on in that day, so I'm hoping that he'll be able to recover just enough for some of the more physical challenges. I'm really looking forward to seeing him interact with some of the newer players on the cast. Sam hasn't spent as much time with a lot of them, but I'm hoping that his natural charm and charisma will pull him through here. I predict a mid-run for Sam. Carolina, I'm excited to see how she plays. Very social player. I think she'll be able to squeeze through a lot of the early game. I don't think she'll be a target until mid to late game. So I'm predicting quite a deep run for Carolina. Mark and Amy. So Sam and Carolina are obviously the first couple. I don't think that's going to put as big a target on their back as it might do for Mark and Amy. My concern with Mark and Amy is that they might be too obviously working together, and if they're able to play it sensibly, spread out a little bit, Mark can use some of his charm, and Amy can use some of that interpersonal relationships that she's able to develop as a physiotherapist. So in theory, on paper, those would be very good to kind of work their way through the game if they do it right. Unfortunately, they're a little bit less connected than some of the other players, so that might come back to bite them. Noel is waiting to get blindsided. He's walking around talking a big game, but he's done a lot of things to several of these players in the past, including scamming people out of various cutlery related images. And if anybody remembers any of that, then Noel's going to make himself a big target early on, especially if he plays big. Noel is one of those louder mouthed players that I was talking about, so I'd be worried if I was Noel. That moves on to Lenny. My concern is Noel and Lenny will go at it straight away, and both of them will find themselves in the first redemption challenge immediately, asking themselves why they bothered going after each other when they could have just teamed up and done so much better. Lenny has a couple more connections in the game. He's probably the most well-connected player here, but most of the players that he's well connected to are the kind of players that are going to want to take him out. So I hope for good things for Lenny. I fear the worst. Then we got Big Dog. Big Dog's going to be a very interesting player in this game, and I'm very excited to see how he performs. I'm hoping that he shakes off any initial kind of shyness from having not seen everyone for quite a long time, and he gets stuck in immediately. I think the first couple of votes will very much indicate how Big Dog will play the game, whether he'll be fully silent and not commit to anything, or whether he'll go for it, start making the big plays, start trying to take out some of those power players. I think Big Dog could be one to watch in this game. Oscar is a very interesting one. I think he's a very social player, but might not have some of those deeper connections. However, he also has the ability, I think, to play big and take those big swings. So I'd be very excited to see how he goes. I'm predicting an early exit. Sorensen should be another very fun one to watch. I'm hoping that in a similar way to Big Dog, he comes out of his shell early and is able to start going for some of the bigger players, or at least teaming up and making some strong alliances with some of the louder players who will carry him through the game. I'm looking forward to seeing him perform in some of the challenges. Beth. Now Beth is my winner pick. I think she's set up great to win this game. She's very physical, got a lot of the endurance challenges down, great with teamwork. I think she's social enough and she has enough of a strategic mindset for the game. My worry is, looking at her early interviews, she is appearing to rely mostly on her physical abilities, which is not going to work because, okay, alright, you can win like 3-4 challenges, but then suddenly you're a massive threat and everyone's going to want to take you out. So I worry for Beth that she'll be too obviously a threat way too soon, and then a lot of the players will then get scared of her and try and take her out. So that's my concern for Beth. However, she's still my winner pick. Then it comes to Ollie. So Ollie's got a little bit more experience about this. He's heard a little bit more about Survivor than a lot of these other players. So I'm really hoping that he's going to be able to go for it and take a lot of big names out. I hope he makes a deep run. I'm predicting mid-game for Ollie. I don't think he's going to make it to the end. I'd like to think he'd find an idol. Max is very unconnected. He knows Lenny and he knows Tom, and that's it. My concern is that he will immediately try and play big and get sent out immediately. Alternatively, on the flip side of that, he can use the fact that he doesn't know anyone to try and build some strong alliances early, and I think that could work greatly to his advantage. And then finally you've got Tom. Tom has seemingly the most knowledge about this game, so he can either use that to massively benefit himself, or he can play too big and get himself kicked out straight away. So it can go either way for Tom as well. I'm concerned it will be an early exit, which will be a shame because I think he's got a lot of skill in this game. So those are my predictions. I think one final thing, so obviously we know that Sam will be starting the game with Hidden Immunity Idol, so we'll see how that manifests as we go through. Yeah, I'm so excited to get everyone in. I'm very excited to see how this game plays out. I feel like a lot of it will be dictated by the kind of questions that I'm throwing them at Tribal Council in order to try and incite some kind of strategy into the game, but I'm so excited to see what happens. So those are your predictions.